Welcome to Favor English News with me, Andama Godfrey Israelite. First, the headline. Government to send delegation to Washington. SSPDF reportedly retakes strategic town of Nasir. And South African politician condemned for visiting fugitive pastor. Government to send delegation to Washington to resolve deportation issue. The government of South Sudan has apologized to the American government for the diplomatic row that erupted when the former refused to let in a Congolese deportee from the U.S. and pledged to expeditiously facilitate the deportation of its affected citizens back to South Sudan. On 6 April, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the United States was revoking visas for South Sudanese passport holders because the country's transitional government refused to receive citizens who were expelled from the U.S. However, the following day, South Sudan Foreign Ministry spokesperson Aweil revealed that upon arrival, it was determined that the individual who presented a South Sudanese travel document under the name Nimeri Garang is a national of the Democratic Republic of Congo, whose real name is Makula Kintu, and that he was returned to the sending country, U.S. South Sudan, however, backpedaled under pressure on its decision not to allow Kintu entry, and he again landed in Juba on 9th April after the U.S. revoked visas for South Sudanese passport holders. A press release issued by Vice President Benjamin Bol-Mel on Saturday said, the government of South Sudan wishes to express its respect and appreciation to President Donald J. Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio for their leadership and continued commitment to enforcing U.S. immigration policy. SSPDF reportedly retakes strategic town of Nasir. The South Sudan People's Defense Forces said Sunday they had retaken the strategic town of Nasir from the White Army militia group after more than a month of occupation. The White Army, a Nuer civilian militia, seized Nasir in Upper Nile State on March 4. The distance from Nasir to Malakal, the state capital, is 185 kilometers. Major General Lul Roy-Kong, an SSPDF spokesperson, confirmed the military's return to Nasir County, but did not provide details on the operation. When asked about rumors of Ugandan military involvement in the operation, Kong declined to comment. Local sources in Nasir County also confirmed to this publication that the SSPDF entered Nasir without encountering resistance, as the White Army had withdrawn before their arrival. Bang Hoth Yuel, a representative of opposition SPLM-IO in Ethiopia, also confirmed the SSPDF's presence in Nasir. He said government forces clashed with the White Army in Yomdeng and Kwich areas before moving into the town of Nasir. Governor Ober tackles water crisis in Aweil East villages. The governor of Northern Barakazal State, Simon Ober Mawood, donated 2 hand-operated water pumps on Saturday to the community of Gram Yagot Payam in Aweil East County to ease chronic water shortages. The pumps will serve residents of Makwei Aliab Dobe and surrounding areas, where women often wait for days to access clean water. During a one-day visit to the area, Governor Ober pledged to improve basic services, including healthcare, education, and telecommunication. He said his administration would collaborate with NGOs to expand services in the remote region. State Information Minister Gabriel Deng Yel said the donation would significantly reduce the community's struggle in accessing safe water. He also called on the national government to build a road connecting Makwei Aliab Do to Aweil town to facilitate trade, particularly for gum arabic, a key local product. In regional news, South African politician condemned for visiting fugitive pastor. A top official in one of South Africa's biggest political parties has been condemned for visiting a self-proclaimed pastor who fled the Malawi after he was accused of rape and fraud. Floyd Simvambu, Secretary General of the Umkhonto weZizwe party of former President Jacob Zuma, retweeted footage on X of him attending an Easter service at Bushiri's church. Mr. Bushiri from Malawi was one of Southern Africa's best-known preachers when he was arrested and charged with fraud in 2020. After being released on bail, he managed to flee to his home country in unclear circumstances. South Africa has been trying to extradite him ever since. Last month, a court in Malawi backed the extradition request, but Mr. Bushiri and his wife Mary, who is facing fraud charges, have lodged an appeal. Mr. Bushiri is a billionaire who set up churches in several African countries. He is accused of preying on poor people who were desperate to improve their lives by selling merchandise including miracle oil. The self-proclaimed prophet claims to have cured people of HIV, made the blind see, changed the fortunes of the impoverished, and on at least one occasion walked on air. Mr. Bushiri has also been charged with rape. He and his wife have denied any wrongdoing. South Africa's Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mamloko Kubai, said Zivambu's assassination with Mr. Bushiri was, quote, a blatant act of disrespect towards South Africa's legal system, end quote. She added that it would embolden those who believe they can escape accountability. In world news, Ukraine reports many Russian drone attacks after truce ends. Ukraine's military has reported Russian drone attacks on several regions overnight, just hours after the end of a 30-hour Easter truce declared by Moscow. Ukraine Air Force issued raid alerts for the Kyiv region as well as Kherson, Dnipropetrovsk, Cherkassk, Mykolaiv, and Zaporizhzhia. In the southern city of Mykolaiv, Mayor Alexandra Sevik said explosions were heard. It was not immediately clear whether there were any casualties. Russia's military has not commented on the reported attacks. The truce declared by President Vladimir Putin expired at midnight Sunday, Moscow time. Both sides accuse each other of violating the ceasefire. In the early hours of Monday, residents in several Ukrainian cities, including the capital Kyiv, were urged by local authorities to go immediately to nearby shelters due to the threat of drone strikes. Ukraine Air Force also reported a rocket danger for central regions and said that Russia's aviation was active in the northeastern and eastern direction. Several hours before the truce expired, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said Putin had not been ordered to extend it. Russia's state-run news agency TASS reported. U.S. President Donald Trump, who has been pushing for an end to the war, said late on Sunday that hopefully Russia and Ukraine will make a deal this week. He gave no further details. Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine on 24 February 2022 and currently controls about 20% of Ukraine's territory, including the southern Crimea Peninsula annexed by Moscow in 2014. To end the news, the headlines once again. Government to send delegation to Washington to resolve deportation issues. SSPDF reportedly retakes strategic town of Nasir. And South African politician condemned for visiting fugitive pastor. Our verse for today is Matthew 6:28-29. And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. Stay tuned.
That was the news
on Favor FM 96.3, the heartbeat of God.